you again.
That's right.
You again.
That's right.
Me.
Okay,
Thank you, Dave.
very good. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Boak, Chairman of the Kennebunkport Planning Board. It's a virtual planning board meeting using the Zoom conferencing format. The agenda is on the town website. If you wish to participate through Zoom, you can join this webinar ID 839-2775-1108. You can also dial it on the phone 929-205-6099. Ask to enter the meeting ID. As always, you can watch us on television, channel 1301, or stream us on YouTube at Kennebunkport Television. During the meeting, only the planning board and current participants are selected by the board to be on screen with audio connected. All other participants are blacked out, audio muted, and except when the public hearing is happening. When a public hearing is on the agenda, which is items 1 and 3 tonight, applicant and board members will have their discussions, after which we will open the public hearing. At that time, anyone who wishes to be heard should raise their hand in Zoom, and we'll recognize those people who wish to talk one at a time. If you happen to be using your phone, raise your hand is *6 and toggle mute is *9. Okay, brings us to attendance, and everybody is there. Look at that. Okay, so I guess we usually have people respond verbally. So I'm here. Nina?
I'm here.
Okay. Scott?
Here.
Ed?
Here.
Okay. Larry?
Here.
John?
Here.
George? Okay. George, you're muted, but I do see you, so.
Here.
Okay. Now, the next step is approval of minutes, and I got them a few minutes ago, and they're a magnificent 5 pages of minutes. My feeling is we ought to take a chance to read them through and approve them next time.
That sounds good.
Okay. So we're going to hold off. I mean, they're really good. I didn't see any problems at all in my quick read, but
I didn't get a chance to look at
it's
it.
it's 5 pages long. So
It's a long
okay.
meeting.
Yes. So our agenda. The first item is item 210-801. Vincent and Nathan Thielen, Longview Partners, authorized agent. This is a public hearing on a preliminary subdivision application. So, is Jim Logan out there? Thank you. Yeah, there he is.
Hey, how we doing, folks?
Good. Okay.
Good evening. Ready?
Yeah, if you want to make just a quick recap of what's going on in this subdivision, which is.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate it. I appreciate your attention tonight, folks. Just to bring you back up to speed, pretty simply, I think the last go-around we had at the last meeting, we had finally compiled the information in a satisfactory manner for the board. We did have a little bit of a go-around and a revision was provided regarding the subdivision name. And we chose, I think, as a group to stay with the original plan name that was cited from the original subdivision, so no confusion would exist in the future, as this is a redivision of lot number 4 in a previously approved subdivision. Okay, it's somewhat different from your other subdivision approvals in that it is just a single lot, where most of your reviews involve multiple lot subdivisions. And the other thing that we did with regard to submissions is we included back to the board the confirmation of the curb cut that was previously obtained by my applicant for the existing driveway entrance that is built out there and is actually gated at that location. And I trust that with those two simple items, because of our extensive coverage last meeting that we're now prepped for what is a preliminary plan public hearing. And I hope that now we've made things more clear and that they remain simple for this public hearing.
Okay. So, Nina, do you have any comments?
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
Anyone else in the board? Comments? Questions? Okay, well, I'm going to open up the public hearing, find out if we have anybody out there interested in talking about this particular subdivision. So, Dave. Okay. Well, in that case, I'm going to close the public hearing. And I guess we need to just approve this preliminary plan. Want to get a motion somewhere here?
I'll make a motion to approve the preliminary plan.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I'm going to go through. I'm in favor. Nina?
In favor?
Okay. Scott?
In favor.
All right. Ed?
Yes, in favor.
Larry?
In favor.
Okay, that's 5. So we're all set. So I guess all that remains is to draft a letter to Jim saying, which probably can come from you as vice chair if you want to just write the letter and give it to April to type.
Right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, we've done that before.
yeah, so we just send a letter, say, here's what we agreed to. These are the waivers. We'll probably have to reapprove the waivers in the final plan, but just to tell them that we're happy and we're whatever it is, whatever the rule is, 30 days from now or something, you can submit the final.
Right.
So, thank you, Jim.
Well, I thank you very kindly, board members. I appreciate your consideration tonight.
Okay, which brings us to item number 2, which is a finding of facts to be read by Larry on the Shlomo factory, the residential mixed-use housing on Ocean Ave. So, Larry, hit it.
Okay, well, first I want to thank the applicant for submitting the updated application. I really appreciate getting that. So I'll just jump into the finding of facts. This is the application of the Schmello Family LLC, 24 Ocean Avenue by Trade Center, Inc., authorized agent, to convert existing commercial complex to residential mixed use. So following a site plan review pursuant to the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance on November 3rd, 2021, and a public hearing held on November 17th, 2021, and continued on December 1st, 2021, Kennebunkport Planning Board makes the following finding of facts and conclusions and renders the following decision. Findings of fact are as follows. The applicant is Schmello Family LLC with a mailing address of 1023 Wagon Wheel Drive, Sarasota, Florida, 34240. In a form of authorization dated June 29th, 2021, applicant has authorized David Wade of Trade Center, Inc., Shapely, Maine, to act as agent for this matter. 3, the property has a street address of 24 Ocean Avenue, Kennebunkport, Maine, 04046, and is identified as map 11, block 9, lot 10 on the municipal tax assessor's maps. 4, the property is located in the Docks Square zone. 5, the owner has demonstrated a legal interest in the property by providing a release deed recorded in the York County Registry of Deeds, book 16489, pages 957 and 961, dated December 19th, 2012. 6, the property consists of 16,834 square feet, which is about 0.39 of an acre, and is developed with a commercial complex comprised of numerous individual business units as well as associated parking and other pedestrian improvements. The project is limited to conversion of existing commercial space on the second floor of 2 existing buildings into 4 residential apartments, 2 apartments for each of the 2 existing buildings, which will not affect any existing lot nonconformances, specifically the lot size. The apartments will be rented on a long-term basis as primary residences with strict requirements that the use of the apartments must conform to requirements in the Land Use Ordinance Section 240-7.13, residential mixed use. 7, in an application dated October 13th, 2021, and supplemented with additional information on December 1st, 2021, applicant proposes to convert the second floor of existing commercial buildings into apartments, 4 apartments total. 8, the proposed conversion plan has been discussed with the Kennebunkport Fire Department. In a letter dated November 15th, 2021, the requirements of the Kennebunkport Fire Department are as follows. 8A, 2-hour fire separation between mercantile occupancy and residential dwelling units. 8B, 1-hour fire separation between residential dwelling units. 8C, a sprinkler system installed in accordance with requirements of NFPA 13D. Should the presence of the ledge substantially interfere with pipe installation necessary to meet any increase in water supply, which may be required to meet the NFPA 13D system, then a monitored fire alarm system covering the entire building must be installed to suit requirements of the Kennebunkport Fire Department. 9, the applicant has requested no submission or performance waivers from the requirements of the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance. 10, pursuant to the requirements of 10.10.a of the Land Use Ordinance, Guidelines for Decisions, the Planning Board shall approve a site plan application unless it makes a negative ruling on one or more of the following identified findings, which would otherwise compel denial. A, the proposed use meets the definition or specific requirements set forth in the Land Use Ordinance and will be in compliance with applicable state or federal laws. Finding yes. B, the proposed use will not create fire safety hazards and will provide adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles. Finding yes. Comment. For vehicle access by the fire department, the parking lot behind the building is the preferred location for staging such equipment if needed. A commercial-grade Knox box located on the outside of the building is needed for storing access keys to all parts of the building. Knox box will be accessible by the Kennebunkport Fire Department. C, the proposed exterior lighting will not create hazards to motorists traveling on adjacent public streets and is adequate for the safety of occupants or users of the site and will not damage the value and diminish the usability of adjacent properties. Finding not applicable. D, the provisions for buffers and on-site landscaping provisions for adequate protection to neighboring properties from detrimental features of the development. Finding not applicable. E, the proposed use will not have a significant detrimental effect on the use and peaceful enjoyment of abutting property as a result of noise, vibrations, fumes, odors, dust, glare, or other cause. Finding yes. F, the provisions for vehicular loading and unloading and parking and for vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site and onto adjacent public streets will not create hazards to safety. Finding yes. Comment. Vehicle access and vehicle parking for the execution of the project will mostly be on applicant's property. G, the proposed use will not have a significant detrimental effect on the value of adjacent properties, nor has a significant detrimental effect which could be avoided by a reasonable modification of the plan. Finding yes. H, the design of the site will not result in significant flood hazards or flood damage and is in conformance with applicable flood hazard protection requirements. Finding not applicable. I, adequate provision has been made for disposal of wastewater or solid waste and for the prevention of groundwater or surface water contamination. Finding not applicable. J, adequate provision has been made to control erosion or sedimentation. Finding not applicable. K, adequate provision has been made to handle stormwater runoff or other drainage problems on the site. Finding not applicable. L, the proposed water supply will meet the demands of the proposed use or for fire protection purposes. Finding yes. Comment. The proposed conversion will include a sprinkler system conforming to NFPA 13D requirements. should an increase in water supply be required for the NFPA 13D system, but existence of ledge interferes with providing such increase, then a monitored fire alarm system which covers the entire building must be provided to satisfy the requirements of the Kennebunkport Fire Department. M, adequate provision has been made for the transportation, storage, and disposal of hazardous substances and materials as defined by state law, finding not applicable. N, the proposed use will not have an adverse effect or adverse impact on significant scenic vistas or on significant wildlife habitat, nor will it have such an impact that could be avoided by a reasonable modification of the plan, finding not applicable. O, the proposed use will not cause unreasonable highway or public road congestion, finding yes. Comment, vehicle access and vehicle parking for execution of the project mostly will be on applicant's property. P, existing off-site ways and traffic facilities can safely and conveniently accommodate the increase in traffic generated by the development as far away from the development as the effects of the development can be traced with reasonable accuracy, finding not applicable. Any negative finding by the board means the application has been denied. 11, the application is otherwise complete. Conclusion, Article 10.10.A of the Land Use Ordinance mandates that the planning board shall approve a site plan application unless it makes one or more identified findings that would otherwise compel denial, and as noted above, the board makes no such findings. Decision, the site plan application identified above is hereby approved. Conditions of approval, if any, pursuant to Article 10.11 and 10.12.E. 1, applicant pursuant to 10.12.E shall notify the planning board prior to the transfer of rights to construct an approved project. 2, final approval from the town of Kennebunkport Fire Department must be provided before a building permit can be issued for the project. 3, applicant must include requirements of land use ordinance section for residential mixed use and lease agreements so as to ensure that units are rented on a long-term basis as primary residences. 4, applicant must record a copy of this decision and provide proof of such recordation in the form of a copy thereof attested by the Register of Deeds before any permits may issue or before any construction activity may commence. 5, applicant shall comply with all terms and conditions of the town of Kennebunkport ordinances dated December 1st, 2021.
Lovely. Okay. So I guess I'll move that to approve that finding of facts.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I'm in favor, Nina.
I'm in favor.
Okay, Scott,
In favor.
Ed,
Favor?
Larry.
In favor.
All righty, good. So be sure to go see April in the next couple of days and sign this paper. Okay?
Okay.
That brings us to item 3, Yachtsmen Hotel and Marina. Can you bring up Steve Doe? I don't know if Ralph is out there. If so, bring him up.
Yes.
Okay, there's Steve.
Now you can probably hear me. Had the mic turned up.
Okay. So this is for the Yachtsmen Hotel, and this is simply taking it from 3 seasons to year round. So do you have any additional stuff to discuss on the topic there, Steve?
No, really just reiterating that it's there's no changes to the site itself. It's really just taking it from 3 seasons to 4 seasons. They'll be doing some interior modifications to make sure it's winterized, some exterior utilities, but other than that, it's going to remain the same. So.
Okay. Good. So Scott, you're the lead on this one? Do you have any comments or questions?
I do not. I'm satisfied with everything Steve said.
Okay. Anyone else with questions? Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to open up the public hearing and see if anybody in the public would like to speak on this. So, any raised hands, David? Okay, I'm not surprised, but okay. So I guess I will close the public hearing. Now, do I have any motions on this topic here, folks?
Move to accept the application?
Move to approve the application.
Approve the application, I'm sorry, approve the application.
Okay, is there a second on that?
Second that.
Okay. Well, so I'm going to go around. I'm in favor. Nina?
I'm in favor.
Scott?
In favor?
Ed?
In favor?
And Larry?
In favor.
Okay. So I believe that you have a finding of facts ready to roll on this. Is that correct, Scott?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So read away.
Thank you. This is a finding of facts and decision on the Yachtsmen Hospitality LLC Sebago Techniques authorized agent 57 Ocean Ave, Kennebunkport, Maine. Following a site plan review pursuant to the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance on November 17th, 21, and a public hearing on December 1st of 21, the planning board makes the following findings and renders the following decision. The finding of facts are, number one, the owner of the property is Yachtsmen Hospitality LLC with a mailing address of 2 Livewell Drive, number 203, Kennebunk, Maine. In a letter dated October 18th of 21, Justin Grimes, managing director of Yachtsmen Hospitality, owner, authorized Sebago Techniques to act as agent for this matter. Number 2, the property has a street address of 57 Ocean Ave, Kennebunkport, Maine. Number 3, the property is located on the Kennebunk River and the riverfront zone and the resource protection zone. Number 4, the owner, Yachtsmen Hospitality LLC, has demonstrated a legal interest in the property by providing a copy of warranty deed recorded in the York County Register of Deeds, book 17585, page 540, and dated October 19th of 17. The premises are comprised of 1.7 acres, more or less, of land improved with a 30-unit hotel, motel, building, and marina. Number 6, the property is identified as map 10, block 1, lot 3 on the municipal assessor's maps. Number 7, in an application dated October 19th of 21, the applicant proposes to convert the facility from its current 3-season use to year-round use. Number 8, the applicant has requested no submission waivers from the requirements of the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance. Number 9, the applicant has requested no performance standard waivers from the requirements of the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance. And number 10, pursuant to the requirements of Article 10.10.a of the Land Use Ordinance, the planning board shall approve a site plan application unless it makes a negative ruling on one of the more following identified findings, which would otherwise compel denial. A, the proposed use meets the definition of or specific requirements set forth in the Land Use Ordinance, will be in compliance with applicable state or federal laws. Yes. The proposed use will not create fire safety standards and will provide adequate access to the site or to the buildings on the site for emergency vehicles. Not applicable. The proposed exterior lighting, number C, will not create hazards to motorists traveling on adjacent public streets and is adequate for the safety of occupants or users of the site and will not damage the value and diminish the usability of adjacent properties. Not applicable. The provision for buffers and on-site landscaping provide for adequate protection to neighboring properties from detrimental features of the development. Not applicable. That was D. E, the proposed use will not have a significant detrimental effect on the use and peaceful enjoyment of abutting properties as a result of noise, vibrations, fumes, odors, dust, glare, or other causes. Yes. F, the provisions for vehicular loading and unloading and parking and for vehicular and pedestrian circulation on the site and onto adjacent public streets will not create hazards to safety, not applicable. Finding. G, the proposed use will not have a significant detrimental effect on the value of adjacent properties, nor a significant detrimental effect which could be avoided by reasonable modifications of the plan. Finding yes. H, the design of the site will not result in significant flood hazards or flood damage and is in conformance with applicable flood hazard protection requirements. Finding yes. Adequate provision has been made for disposal of wastewater or solid waste for the prevention of ground or surface water contamination. Finding yes. J, adjacent provision has been made to control erosion or sedimentation. Yes. K, adequate provision has been made to handle stormwater runoff or other drainage problems on the site. Yes. L, the proposed water supply will meet the demands of the proposed use or for fire protection purposes. Not applicable. M, adequate provision has been made for the transportation, storage, disposal of hazardous substances, materials as defined by state law. Yes. The proposed use will not have an adverse impact on significant scenic vistas or significant wild habitat, nor will have such an impact that could be avoided by reasonable modifications of the plan. Finding yes. And O, the proposed use will not cause unreasonable highway or public road congestion. Finding yes. Number 11, when a proposed development will be located within a shoreland or a resource protection zones, in addition to the requirements of the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance, Article 10, the townwide regulations in Article 6, the performance standards for specific activities and land use in Article 7, approval of the development will also require the board makes positive finding based on the information presented that the proposed use, A, will maintain safe and healthy conditions. Finding yes, will not result in water pollution, erosion, or sedimentation to surface waters. Finding yes. C, will adequately provide for the disposal of wastewater. Finding yes. Will not have the adverse impact on spawning grounds, fish, aquatic life, bird, or other wildlife habitat. Finding yes. E, will conserve shore coverage and visual as well as actual points of access to inland and coastal waters. Finding yes. F, will protect archaeological and historic resources as designated in the comprehensive plan. Finding yes. G, will avoid problems associated with flood plan development and use. Finding yes. And H, is in conformance with the performance standards set forth in section 5.6 of the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance. Finding yes. Any negative finding by the board means that the application has been denied. 12, the application is otherwise complete. Conclusions, Article 1010A of the Land Use Ordinance mandates that the planning board shall approve a site plan application unless it makes one or more identified findings that would otherwise compel denial. As noted above, the board finds no such findings. decision, the site plan application identified above is hereby approved. Conditions of approval, if any, pursuant to 1011 and 1012E. Number one, the applicant pursuant to 1012E shall notify the planning board prior to the transfer of rights to construct an approved project. No assignment or transfer of rights to construct an approved project is valid without prior review and approval by the planning board of a new performance guarantee to ensure that any assignee or transferee has the financial capacity to undertake or complete the project. And number two, the applicant must record a copy of this decision and provide proof of such recordation in the form of a copy thereof attested by the Register of Deeds before any permits may issue or before any construction activity may commence, dated December 1st of 2021. That's complete.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to move move approval of that finding of facts.
I'll second.
Okay, so I'm in favor. Nina,
In favor?
Scott,
In favor?
Ed,
In favor?
Larry.
In favor?
Okay, so it is approved, and just be sure, once again, we get in and see April and get it signed here, folks. So next day or two, get in there. And that's about it.
Thank you.
That's
Yes, thank you
everything.
very much.
Thank you.
Everything on the-
Warner has something.
Warner has something, okay.
I do. I have one item, and it's just a reminder to the board that we have a site walk on this coming Friday.
Right,
So don't forget about the site walk for the subdivision off of Goose Rocks Road.
right. I think I have that on my calendar, so.
Yep. 1 o'clock.
1
1:00.
Yep.
On Friday, very good.
Thank you, Warren.
Thank
Okay,
you, Warner.
and thank you, Steve and Ralph. So I guess at this point, we can just take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we are adjourned. Thank you very much, folks.
Thanks, Tom.
I like
Thank you.
quick meetings.
Yeah.
All righty, bye-bye.
Right on.
Aye.
Bye-bye.